That morning, September 11th, 2001, was supposed to be a celebration. It was my 23rd birthday, a milestone that felt significant, marking another year of life and the promise of a future stretching out before me. I was just starting out, full of the kind of ambition and optimism that only youth can truly hold. I had recently landed a new job at a company called Garbin Intercapital, and this was only my second week. My office was located on the 73rd floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center, a place that felt like the very center of the universe, a symbol of power and progress rising high into the New York City sky. The day began just like any other Tuesday. I arrived at my desk, ready to dive into the fast-paced world of finance. The city was waking up below, a familiar hum of traffic and energy that I was quickly growing accustomed to. From my vantage point high above the streets, Manhattan sprawled out in a breathtaking panorama. The view was one of the perks of the job, a constant reminder of being in a place where anything felt possible. There was no hint of the darkness that was about to descend, no premonition that the world as we knew it was on the verge of being shattered forever. It was just another day, filled with ordinary tasks and birthday well-wishes from new colleagues. Then, at 8:46 a.m., a sound and a shudder ripped through the building. It was a jolt so powerful, so unnatural, that it defied immediate comprehension. We felt the vibration travel through the floor, a deep, unsettling tremor that made everything in the office rattle. My colleagues and I exchanged confused, questioning glances. Was it an earthquake, an explosion? Speculation filled the air, but nobody knew what had truly happened. We rushed to the windows, trying to make sense of the sudden chaos. Looking across at the North Tower, we saw smoke and flames pouring from a massive, gaping hole near the top. It was a scene of pure disbelief. Even then, the reality of the situation was impossible to grasp. We were told over the building's intercom system that our tower, the South Tower, was secure and that we should remain in our offices. The announcement was meant to be reassuring, to prevent a mass panic. But a deep, primal instinct began to take hold, a feeling that staying put was the wrong thing to do. The sight of the burning tower next to us was a terrifying spectacle. The air was filled with an uneasy tension, a mixture of fear and confusion. The initial shock began to give way to a dawning, horrifying realization that this was no accident. Something terrible was unfolding right before our very eyes. Despite the official announcements telling us to stay put, a growing number of us on the 73rd floor felt an overwhelming urge to leave. The sight of the inferno raging in the North Tower was too visceral, too close for comfort. A debate began to ripple through the office. Some argued for following the official protocol, while others insisted that getting out was the only logical choice. I remember the palpable fear in the room, the indecision that paralyzed some and spurred others into action. For me, the choice became clear. Something deep inside told me that waiting for permission to save my own life was a mistake I could not afford to make. An instinct for survival screamed louder than any loudspeaker. I made the decision to evacuate. I wasn't alone. A small group of my colleagues felt the same way. We headed for the stairwell, our hearts pounding with a mixture of adrenaline and dread. Opening the door to the concrete stairs felt like stepping into an alternate reality. The polished, professional world of our office was gone, replaced by a stark, utilitarian passage that would become our lifeline. The air was thick with the smell of smoke, and a low murmur of panicked voices echoed from the floors above and below. We started our descent, a slow and arduous journey down 73 flights of stairs, not knowing what we would find at the bottom. The stairwell was crowded but orderly, a testament to the quiet, collective resolve of people facing an unimaginable crisis. Strangers became allies, offering words of encouragement and helping those who stumbled. I remember seeing a woman in high heels, her face etched with fear, as she carefully made her way down, step by painful step. People shared information, snippets of news they had heard, trying to piece together the puzzle of what was happening outside. The descent was surreal. With every floor we passed, we felt we were moving further away from the immediate danger, yet the sense of being trapped within the massive structure was inescapable. The building still felt solid beneath our feet, a false sense of security that would soon be obliterated. As we continued our slow procession downwards, the building was struck again. This time, it was our tower. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower between the 77th and 85th floors, just a few stories above where we had been moments before. The entire stairwell shook with a violent, bone-jarring impact that threw us against the walls. The lights flickered and went out, plunging us into near-total darkness. A wave of screams erupted, a collective cry of pure terror. The smell of jet fuel instantly filled the air, acrid and overpowering. In that moment, the hope of a safe escape felt like it was slipping away. We were inside a building that had become a target. The impact of the second plane turned the orderly descent into a desperate scramble for survival. The stairwell became a chaotic scene of darkness, choking smoke, and raw panic. People were screaming, crying, and praying. The building swayed violently, and for a terrifying moment I thought it was going to topple over right then and there. We were trapped in a concrete tomb, thousands of feet in the air, with fire and destruction raging just above our heads. The instinct to flee became all-consuming. We pushed forward, driven by the primal need to reach the ground, to get out into the open air, away from the smoke and the shaking floors. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we reached the ground floor. Spilling out into the lobby was like emerging from a dark cave into a war zone. The concourse was a scene of devastation, with shattered glass, debris, and dust covering every surface. First responders were yelling, directing people toward the exits, their faces grim and determined. The air was thick with a haze of dust and smoke, making it difficult to breathe. We didn't stop. We just kept moving, pushing our way through the chaos and out onto the street. The relief of being outside was immense but fleeting, as we were confronted with a scene of even greater horror. I ran as far as I could, putting distance between myself and the burning towers. I stopped several blocks away, turning back to look at the unimaginable sight. Both towers were now on fire, two colossal torches piercing the clear blue sky. Paper, office documents, and shimmering debris rained down all around us, a surreal blizzard in the late summer sun. The streets were filled with thousands of people, all staring upwards, their faces a mixture of shock, horror, and disbelief. Then I heard it, a low, rumbling groan that grew into a deafening roar. It was a sound I will never forget, the sound of a mountain collapsing. I watched in utter stupefaction as the South Tower, the very building I had been inside just minutes earlier, began to implode. It pancaked down, floor by floor, in a horrifyingly methodical sequence of destruction. A monstrous cloud of dust, smoke, and debris billowed out, chasing through the canyons of Lower Manhattan, swallowing everything in its path. The sight was so completely outside the realm of human experience that my mind struggled to process it. I had not only escaped, but I had witnessed the death of the place where I had been working, where I had been celebrating my birthday. I was alive, but the world had been irrevocably broken. In the aftermath, standing on the dust-covered streets of a city under siege, a profound and life-altering realization washed over me. I was alive. I had survived. The sheer randomness of it was staggering. Had I listened to the announcement, had I hesitated for a few more minutes, I would have been on one of the floors directly in the path of the second plane. That thought has never left me. The experience stripped away all the trivial concerns and anxieties of daily life, leaving behind a stark and powerful clarity. It gave me a profound and unshakable sense that every single day I am alive is an extra day, a gift that I was not guaranteed. That day became a dividing line in my life. The person I was before and the person I became after. The trauma was immense, and the path to healing was long and difficult. But the overwhelming feeling was not one of despair, but of gratitude. Surviving 9/11 ignited a fire within me to live a life of purpose, to not waste the precious time I had been given. I felt compelled to pursue my passions with a new urgency, to build a life that was meaningful and fulfilling. The career path I had been on no longer felt sufficient. I wanted to do more, to connect with people, to create, and to heal. This newfound perspective led me down two very different but equally rewarding paths. I went back to school and became an anesthesiologist, a profession dedicated to easing pain and caring for people in their most vulnerable moments. It was a way to give back, to be a source of comfort and security in a world that can feel so frighteningly uncertain. Simultaneously, I pursued my passion for food and community by opening my own restaurant, Chi, here in New York City. It's a place where people can gather, share a meal, and create new memories. A celebration of life and connection in the heart of the city that endured so much. Surviving that day taught me the most important lesson of all. Life is fragile, and it is beautiful. It taught me not to wait for the perfect moment to follow a dream, because that moment may never come. From the ashes of tragedy, I found a renewed sense of purpose. I learned that triumph is not about forgetting the past, but about honoring it by living the present to its fullest. Every birthday is no longer just a marker of age, but a profound anniversary of my second chance at life. And with each passing year, I am reminded to embrace every extra day with gratitude, passion, and hope.